Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I have to tell you, the recent revelations surrounding Jen Sidwell have left my head spinning. We all saw that he accepted a plea deal, one that could mean sitting behind the cold bars of Pentonville for 31 years, or perhaps even for life. On the surface, it looks like the justice system has finally caught up with him. But if you have been watching this show as closely as I have, you just know that something does not feel right. Jen Sidwell is simply not the kind of man who goes quietly into the night. When I sit back and really think about Jen Sidwell as a character, I am struck by his relentless drive and his absolute refusal to accept defeat. This is a man who has always fought tooth and nail for every ounce of power he possesses. The very idea of him sitting in a tiny, bleak prison cell wearing a standard-issue jumpsuit and just accepting his fate is almost laughable to me. It goes against everything we have seen from him. He is a fighter, a schemer, and a man who always has an ace up his sleeve. I can feel it in my heart that this sudden willingness to accept a plea deal is nothing more than a smokescreen. I am absolutely certain that he already has a brilliant, foolproof prison break plan mapped out. Just imagine the sheer chaos he is going to unleash on Port Charles. Another thing that really tipped me off, and I know many of you seasoned viewers probably caught this too, is the simple fact that there has been absolutely no grand farewell announcement for Carlo Rota. Usually, when a major villain is truly exiting the canvas for good, we get some sort of heads up, a big dramatic send-off that feels final. We have not seen that here. The writers are keeping things quiet, and to me, that silence speaks volumes. It tells me that Jen Sidwell is far from finished. In fact, I believe we are just standing in the calm before the storm. When he inevitably breaks out, he is not just going to run away and hide. He is going to want revenge, and he is going to want it served cold. There are at least 4 major targets who I believe are in terrible danger. First and foremost on that hit list has to be our dear Lucas Jones. My heart just aches when I think about what Lucas might be facing soon. We all remember how Lucas was the one who set the trap that ultimately led to Sidwell being arrested in the first place. Sidwell is a man of massive ego, and being outsmarted by Lucas is a humiliation he will not easily forgive. But the bad blood between them goes so much deeper than just a bruised ego. We have to talk about Marco Rios. The relationship between Lucas and Marco was complicated, and the tragic death of Marco has cast a long, dark shadow. Sidwell places a huge part of the blame for Marco passing away squarely on Lucas and his actions. In Sidwell's twisted mind, Lucas is the reason he lost someone important to his life. If Jen Sidwell manages to escape, I am genuinely so worried for Lucas. Lucas has been through so much emotional turmoil already, and the last thing he needs is a ruthless criminal mastermind hunting him down in the streets of Port Charles. I can just picture the intense, nail-biting scenes where Lucas realizes he is being stalked. The fear, the paranoia, the desperate attempts to stay one step ahead of a man who has nothing left to lose. It would be incredibly compelling television, but as someone who cares deeply about these characters, I just want to reach through the screen and protect him. Sidwell would not just want to hurt Lucas, he would want to destroy his life piece by piece as payback. We are going to have to brace ourselves for a heartbreaking ride. Then, of course, there is the legendary Sonny Corinthos. You simply cannot talk about a power struggle or a revenge plot in Port Charles without Sonny being right in the middle of it. The history between Jen Sidwell and Sonny is so thick with tension, you could cut it with a knife. Let us not forget the promise Sidwell made. Marco desperately wanted Sidwell to end Sonny's life as a way to demand justice for Natalia Ramirez. Sidwell looked Marco in the eye and promised that he would take Sonny down. Jen Sidwell is a man who takes his promises very seriously, especially when they involve taking out a rival. I can feel the anticipation building inside me just thinking about these 2 heavyweights going toe-to-toe once again. Sidwell will feel completely justified in coming after Sonny. What makes this potential showdown even more incredibly tragic is the timing of it all. As we have seen, Sonny and Jason Morgan are currently trying to do the impossible. They are trying to step away from the dangerous mob life to leave the criminal underworld behind so they can finally protect their loved ones and find some peace. My heart swells seeing Sonny try to make this massive change for his family. But in true soap opera fashion, just when you try to get out, the past reaches out and pulls you right back in. Sidwell, escaping from Pentonville, would completely shatter Sonny's plans for a peaceful exit. It is the ultimate cruel twist of fate. Just as Sonny is trying to put down his weapons, a monster from his past is going to force him to pick them back up. I am practically on the edge of my seat waiting to see how Sonny handles this impending disaster. We know Sonny is fiercely protective, and with Jason by his side, they are a formidable force. But Sidwell is cunning, and an escaped convict with a vendetta is wildly unpredictable. The collateral damage in a war between Sidwell and Sonny could be devastating. Think about the people Sonny loves. People who could get caught in the crossfire. The tension is going to be absolutely suffocating. I find myself worrying about how this will affect Sonny's mental state, knowing that his past sins are preventing him from ever truly being free. It is going to be an emotionally exhausting battle, and I am completely here for every single dramatic moment of it. And speaking of people with hearts of gold, we absolutely must talk about our beloved mayor, Laura Collins. Laura is a pillar of strength and goodness in Port Charles, which naturally makes her a prime target for a man as dark and twisted as Jen Sidwell. Laura is firmly on Sidwell's list of enemies, and if he breaks out of prison, there is no way he is going to let her off the hook. Laura has already been dealing with so much lately. Her recent trip to Ireland has brought its own set of complications and troubles, and she is already carrying a heavy burden. The thought of Sidwell adding to her plate by targeting her is just so unfair, but it makes for such gripping storytelling. Laura has faced down monsters before, but Sidwell's vengeance feels so immediate. What truly terrifies me about Sidwell going after Laura is that he knows exactly how to hurt her the most. He would not just come at her directly, he would go after the people she loves more than anything in this world. I am talking about her wonderful husband, Kevin Collins, and her precious little grandson, baby Ace Cassadine. The thought of Sidwell threatening a sweet, innocent baby just makes my blood run cold. It is the kind of pure villainy that makes you want to scream at the television. Laura is a fierce protector, a true lioness when it comes to her family. If Sidwell even breathes in the direction of Kevin or little Ace, we are going to see a side of Laura that is born of pure, desperate maternal instinct. The emotional stakes here are sky high. Finally, we have to talk about the brilliant and resilient Jordan Ashford. Oh my goodness, the history between Jordan and Sidwell is just dripping with betrayal and bad blood. Jordan is the one who ultimately pulled the rug out from under him. She is the one who betrayed his trust and revealed the vital information that led the authorities straight to his hidden sanctuary, resulting in his capture. For a man who prides himself on being untouchable and always in control, that betrayal from Jordan must sting worse than a physical wound. Sidwell is not someone who takes betrayal lightly, and he is certainly not going to just forgive and forget. He is going to want to make Jordan feel the exact same level of vulnerability and loss that she forced upon him. The psychological games Sidwell has played with Jordan are already so deeply disturbing. Remember when he actually had the audacity to offer her a deal? He promised to arrange for her to have facial reconstructive surgery, something so deeply personal, but only in exchange for a massive favor. It was such a manipulative, cruel way to try and control her. But our Jordan is so incredibly strong. She looked that devil in the eye and refused his offer, betraying his expectations yet again by standing firmly on her morals. I was cheering for her in my living room when she did that. However, that refusal sealed her fate as one of his ultimate targets. If he escapes, he is going to make sure Jordan pays a terrible price for her defiance. The idea of him stalking her is horrifying. When you look at this entire situation, it is clear that Port Charles is sitting on a powder keg and Jen Sidwell holds the match. The stories of Lucas, Sonny, Laura, and Jordan are all weaving together into this massive, terrifying tapestry of impending doom. The writers are doing such an incredible job of building this quiet tension, You can almost feel the heavy, oppressive atmosphere hanging over the town. Every time a door creaks or a phone rings unexpectedly, you wonder if it is the news that Sidwell has escaped. It is the classic soap opera suspense that keeps us coming back day after day, year after year. We are emotionally invested in these people. They feel like our family, and watching them walk closer to the edge is agonizing in the best way. I find myself talking to the screen, warning them to be careful, to look over their shoulders. Will Lucas realize the danger before it is too late? Will Sonny be able to protect his family without losing his soul to the mob all over again? Will Laura be able to keep Kevin and baby Ace safe from a madman's wrath? And will Jordan find the strength to outsmart the man who wants to break her spirit completely? These are the questions that keep me up at night. It is a testament to the incredible acting and writing on General Hospital that we care so deeply. The emotional journey we are about to go on is going to be a roller coaster of fear, triumph, heartbreak, and hopefully ultimate survival. Jen Sidwell feels like a uniquely personal threat to all of them. So, my dear friends, as we look ahead to the coming weeks, we need to brace our hearts. The story of Jen Sidwell is far from over. In fact, I truly believe the most explosive chapters are just about to be written. The calm we are seeing right now is nothing but an illusion. A storm is brewing, and it is going to rain down chaos on Lucas, Sonny, Laura, and Jordan. I will be right here, watching every single moment, shedding tears, gasping in shock, and cheering on our favorites as they fight for their lives and their families. Thank you so much for letting me share my heart with you today. I cannot wait to see how all of this unfolds, and I know you will be watching right along with me, holding your breath until the very last scene.